Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Thoughts from the Round Table. And today we're going to be talking about movies. Get that? What? That's so new. That's so different.
Yeah, we never have talked about movies before, so it's the first time for everything.
New year, new me. Ha.
I hate that saying.
Why?
You're the same person. You
I'm
may want
not.
to change things about yourself.
It's
But, the fun thing is you are the exact same person.
that's just factually untrue.
All right, we're talking about Wonder Woman
The
1984.
midnight bell rings. I become a new human. I shed my 2020 skin like a lizard, and I become new.
We're talking about Wonder Woman 1984, which we didn't see in 2021. We saw it in 2020.
That's true.
So, too bad this movie doesn't have what you think, which is it'd be new, but it's bad.
Wonder Woman kind of sucks.
We're going to talk about it.
Yeah. So with that, please join us at the round table.
This movie's really bad. I had really high hopes for it because I saw the trailer 450,000 times in theaters. But it's bad.
It's really bad.
I thought it could really save DC because Wonder Woman was one of the two interesting characters in the DC universe, but it didn't.
Actually, almost quite the opposite. I'm pretty sure this movie maybe sunk the DCEU completely. And that sucks, to be honest. But I mean, we all knew this was a sinking ship when DC started announcing DC movies that weren't taking place in the universe.
Right.
We all kind of knew, uh-oh.
Yeah. It's really a problem when you have Wonder Woman, one of the most famous superheroes ever, and you can't make a good movie with her awesome stories. Problem?
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about kind of what happened in this movie. First off, the intro. Young Wonder Woman playing in like the Olympics. No callback to it. Just a cold open.
It was almost like you're watching The Office. And instead of like a funny 1-minute clip to like get you in the mood to watch The Office, instead it was like 20 minutes and it just had no importance to the plot at all. And actually just like not even really good action. Just kind of like, what? It's like they had leftover budget and they're like, how can we fill time?
And are you ready for this?
Yeah.
This is my favorite part of the movie.
Are you kidding? Why?
What was better?
There was so much better.
No. I'm going to die on this hill.
Okay.
It was interesting. We just saw Wonder Woman being a child. And the music was good. And it was really well shot. I liked that. It wasn't needed at all.
You want to say that was really well shot.
Yeah.
You'll die on that hill.
Yeah.
I will say that actually, you know what? I'm not going to distance you. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm not going to disagree with you on that it could be someone's favorite part of the movie. Because there really isn't anything factually better.
That's what I'm saying.
And
I'm not saying it's good.
Yeah, I guess it was the only action scene in the entire movie that didn't just do a slow-mo camera.
Yeah. Every cool part of the movie was in the trailers, by the way.
Yeah, if you saw the trailer, you saw the movie.
You got the gist of it.
Actually, like, the entire gist of it. You know when you watch a trailer and you're like, wow, this is pretty plot-heavy trailer. Like, I wonder how they're going to change up the movie or how my expectations will be shattered. Don't have to wonder on Wonder Woman.
Now you don't gotta wonder no more.
Yeah, you don't gotta wonder at all. You just gotta watch the trailer.
Yeah. Anyway, opening scene happens. You think that, hey, there might be a callback. The only thing I could think of that's close to a callback, that's even close, was you can't take the easy way out, which I guess kind of relates to her taking the easy way out of finding love again.
Let's bring it in to the finding love aspect of this movie.
Which was the worst part.
By a lot.
It's what tanked this movie.
Steve Trevor, if you don't know, Wonder Woman 1, aptly entitled Wonder Woman, is an incredible movie.
I love
really.
it.
It's probably one of the better superhero movies that we've got in the past 10 years. In that movie, we saw Steve Trevor, Diana Wonder Woman's hunky male boyfriend.
He's funny too.
He's funny. He's hot.
He's quirky.
He's quirky. He's got a mission. He's a man with a cause. You know, everyone was loving Steve Trevor. Everyone loved him because how could you not? He was perfect. And to symbolize his perfection, he killed himself at the end in a heroic sacrifice of epic proportion. And we said, damn, Steve. Nice.
Yeah, that was real straight shooter of you. You're a good man, Charlie Brown. But as with all movies that have problems and shoot themselves in the foot, they break rules. Don't break rules. You can't bring people back from the dead. Once a character is killed in a series, they're done. Don't bring them back. They're done. Could you name 5 series that have ended up good after they bring a character back from the dead?
It always fails.
Star Wars is the only one, and I wouldn't even call them bringing back from the dead. It's just Force Ghost.
Yeah, but like, also, let's look at Star Wars, right? That's a perfect example, Jacob. Rise of Skywalker decides, let's piss on Star Wars lore. Let's piss on the rules of the universe and just say, oh, he's back.
Yeah.
Let's not explain how Palpatine's back. Let's just bring him back. Let's just sit him there on his little throne and make him Thanos, right? And what did the fans say about that?
They hated it. Could it be because you don't want to break rules?
Could it be because that character already had a fitting end? Now, it's one thing if we have an Infinity War situation. When you kill a character for the sole purpose of bringing them back, you can win. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
You know, you can get your heart throb, but you know deep down, Spider-Man didn't die there. You know, he didn't feel so good, but he'll be back.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Trevor didn't have that situation.
Not only that, I don't think that was part of the plan.
No.
I think that they were like, okay, how are we going to sell this movie? Let's face it, he was one of everyone's favorite characters of that movie. He's a shining spot. So, like, we can sell this movie by bringing him back, which is sad. And it tanked the movie. I think that was the worst part. Once they brought him back, which was in, like, the first 30 minutes, I was kind of all the way out.
Yeah. Also, they brought him back in, like, a very peculiar way. So if you haven't seen this movie, which, I mean, I don't recommend you seeing really at all, there is a little plot hole where Pedro Pascal finds a magic rock, and the magic rock grants wishes, sort of like the Fairly Odd Parents,
mm-hmm.
in the sense that, you know, it's an object that grants wishes. Anyways, he wishes on the stone that he becomes the stone, which is like just dumb. This didn't set up. First off, let's be real here. This stone didn't have rules. If you could wish to become the stone, why not just wish for infinite wishes? Pretty fucking stupid.
You're talking to the wrong person.
Like pretty dumb. Like, this guy was supposed to be smart. He was like, you know, I can, you know, you got one wish, right? You know, I'll wish to become the thing that grants wishes. You got one wish, dumbass. Infinite wishes. What is this, kindergarten? We've already found the answer to this.
Yeah. I actually kind of hated his character.
Yeah.
He was really annoying. And, like, again, with the breaking rules thing, none of it made any sense. Because wasn't it like everyone gets their one wish, right?
Yeah.
But then people got more.
Yeah, because listen, don't think about the wishes, because they don't make any sense.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what doesn't make any sense, right? One guy wishes for a wall to be brought up in borders in Israel. Listen, this movie traverses a lot of weird political lines.
Mm-hmm.
And it's odd. There's a lot of Israel in this movie. You wouldn't expect that in Wonder Woman. But anyways, so he wishes that there's a big wall in Israel. And you know what happens? Magically, a big wall becomes up in Israel. Wonder Woman, she says, I wish that my hunky man toy, Steve Trevor, comes back from the dead. And what does The Rock give her? It brings Steve Trevor's ghost soul back to possess another man's body.
Is a bit of a problem.
What the fuck?
Here's a question. Does that man just not get the chance to get a wish? I think that's a bigger plot hole.
Yeah.
He's getting just robbed. Just straight up robbed. Give him a wish.
He got possessed. He lost his entire life.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus. What?
I don't want to fast forward here, but I'm going to.
Okay.
The end of the movie, we see the guy who was possessed by Steve's ghost after Steve, again, is a Christ figure. He might be the first person ever to be a Christ figure twice.
It's almost like if Jesus came back from the dead and then the Romans killed him again.
Yeah.
And then 3 days later, he was back.
He does it like
He was like, boys, you thought the first movie was good. Wait till you see the sequel.
I guess that's part of the problem why we really hate this and why he does it. Like, doing it twice actually makes no sense. He already saved, like, the world. But then, like, he has to sacrifice himself again to do it again.
Patty Jenkins, and no, I'm not going to roast her as a director.
Yeah, because I don't even know how much of this is her fault.
I really don't. But, like, let's just say, whoever came up with that's just sitting there, and, like, I feel like they've read a lot of fan fictions, and almost too many fan fictions, because they were like, okay, so we need Steve back, right? You know, what's a plot point that could work with Steve? You know, is this going to be like oh, well, Wonder Woman's going to have to deal with the repercussions of, you know, a dead man reappearing to life? Is it going to deal with Steve's sadness, knowing that all his family and friends have died like 70 years ago? There's a lot of very interesting paths you could take this character if you choose to bring him back. And they're just sitting there like, nah. What if he kills himself? You know, what if he kills himself again? What? Why?
I know.
I saw that in the first movie.
Yeah, I don't know why we'd want to watch that again, but we got off topic, go figure. And I forgot to skip to the end and give my point about the ending scene where she like sees Steve's body, or sees the guy who Steve possessed.
Yes.
Was that scene needed at all?
No.
This movie felt 45 minutes too long.
Yeah.
It did have 2 cold opens to hop around. It literally did. It had... Could you imagine? Now, I will say, for as much as I hate The Office being a personality type, I do like parts of it.
Yeah, I do too.
Cold opens specifically. It really did master the cold open. Few shows have been able to do it. It did. Part of the reason why I really like the show. Like, the best cold open is the one where Jim pretends to be Asian.
Yeah.
Really funny. Really funny. You know, don't do it twice. Could you imagine if that... Because that's really the best cold open, in my opinion. Could you imagine if they did that twice? It was like that, and then, hey, here's another cold open, because that one was funny.
Gosh, I don't know if you know this or not. It's like they just had 2 good ideas, and they're like, which one do we cold open with? You know, like, I guess we can... Let's just give them to them both.
Yeah. This movie, like, it was, 2.5 hours long?
Yeah.
It could have been an easy hour 45.
Honestly, it probably would have been better. This movie's paced extremely poor.
Yeah.
Extremely poor.
Yeah.
For a superhero movie, one thing that you do... There's 2 things you need to do to get a good superhero movie for mass appeal. You need to have fight scenes that are interesting, and you need to have good pacing. That's really it. And this movie didn't deliver on both, and I really want to take this as a moment to talk about how shitty DC is at fight scenes. Just awful, really. And it's not a Wonder Woman problem. It's everyone. Watch a DC movie. I challenge you guys listening to this to watch a DCEU movie. And whenever there's a fight scene, it's always the same thing. It's always, oh, let's pull out the slow-mo cam. That's cool maybe once, right?
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, you know, it's a fast-paced fight. Let's slow down one punch. And then, you know, like, oh, I do the mouth funkiness. And then really quick zoom back in and it's kicking ass. When everything's slow-mo, you start feeling in the audience member that the fights are slow.
Yeah.
Which you shouldn't.
Yeah. And that takes, like, the more comic... I think they're trying to make it, like, comic booky, right? They're like comic bookies frame by frame.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why Marvel had such a mass appeal. Because I know they're comic book characters, but they didn't feel like comic books.
Not really.
They were way too. It was like so fast paced. Everything was so well done. It felt like a movie. DCEU does not. It feels like a CW show.
It really feels like a CW show.
This one specifically felt like a CW show.
It did almost like, I feel like an episode of Supergirl is just about exactly Wonder Woman 84.
Yeah.
I think it appealed to the same type of audience. And let's just, we've been pretty negative. There are some things to enjoy about this movie. Just like there's some things to enjoy about a lot of CW shows.
Yeah.
Gal Gadot is a pretty talented actress.
Yep.
She does not feel, when she's on screen as Wonder Woman, she does a great job. She's very charismatic. She plays the character extremely well.
Mm-hmm.
This movie suffered from poor pacing and poor writing, but not poor acting.
Yeah.
I think Pedro Pascal also did really good in this movie.
Yeah, I didn't feel like his acting wasn't what was bad about it. It was a poorly written character that happened to have, like, the motive behind it was cool. It, like, all was how poorly written the character arc was.
Yeah.
Why are we messing with character arcs? What's wrong with having, like, the same one? Like, I understand we want to try and make it different, but I don't know. His just felt so bad.
Yeah.
It was like, was his whole thing a Ponzi scheme from the beginning?
I think.
And then, like, he's like, I want power.
Oh, you know.
It felt hollow.
Yeah.
Which you shouldn't, your villain should always feel whole. And that's why Thanos and the Joker from The Dark Knight are, like, the best villains ever.
But a villain should always be the most important part, I think, of any superhero movie, any action movie or movie that requires a villain. Because that's your interesting. That's what your hero has to work to overcome. And when their motivations are gray or like, oh, wait, what? You know, you can almost relate to them as people. That's when you get an interesting story.
Right.
Pedro Pascal played a caricature. And a caricature should be, here's my hot take for today, should only be done in cartoons, really. Yeah. I'm sorry, he seemed like a cartoon character in a live action movie and it didn't work.
Right.
It would be almost if, like, The Mandalorian brought back Ahsoka, but, like, brought back, you know, cartoon Ahsoka.
Mm-hmm.
When you watch something, characters almost, the way that they're portrayed has to change to match the other people performing. I think that's what throws me off about him the most, is because you've got Steve Trevor, who again kills it, really,
yeah,
in this movie. If you like Steve Trevor, you're not going to dislike him here.
Yeah.
But he's playing like this kind of a straight guy, to Wonder Woman's like, oh, I'm a hero, but I love you, blah, blah, blah. And Pedro Pascal is just like laughing maniacally, bleeding out of his nose, granting wishes like Jorgen on crack. And it's weird.
Yeah.
It doesn't fit.
It doesn't. Yeah. This movie wasn't bad, but I want to talk about something.
Mm-hmm.
This movie, Warner Bros.
Are you tired?
No, I'm trying to flesh out my point.
Okay.
Warner Bros.
Mm-hmm.
As called by Lego Batman, is trying to push this for the Oscars. And that's just a slap in the face to superhero movies. If this even is considered for a quarter of a second to be nominated for any Oscar whatsoever. Right?
Yeah.
If this movie is nominated for anything at all, I will be so angry that some of the greatest superhero movies of all time didn't. Because this isn't even a top 30 superhero movie.
I don't see, here's what I don't like. I don't like when bad movies get nominated for Oscars because they have a good message.
True.
There's my hot take for today. The Oscars should have good movies.
Yep.
The Oscars shouldn't care about message at all.
Right.
Usually, a good movie will correspond with a good message.
Right.
Wonder Woman has a great message and is a great franchise just because of how it reaches so many people and gives especially young girls a superhero.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. That is, no one's complaining about that.
Right.
It's something they need because God knows they're not seeing it in Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, little girls need a superhero.
And Wonder Woman's very wholesome.
Yeah, it's the perfect option. I love its message. This movie sucked ass.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And it's not anything to do with the message or the diversity of the cast or whatever. That has nothing to do with it. This movie sucks ass because it's so poorly written.
Yeah. It just shows you like the importance of having a good screenwriter.
Mm-hmm.
Because a good screenwriter would not let this happen. Let's call it what it is. It wouldn't let it happen.
Yeah, this is it has to be probably. I think that this is, and get ready, the weakest DC movie we've got yet.
Wow.
Which is astounding because we've got a lot of garbage.
What's your favorite one?
My favorite DC movie?
Yeah.
Probably Wonder Woman.
Yeah, just say it's Wonder Woman or Aquaman for me.
Yeah. Aquaman is good because you can turn your brain off.
Yeah.
Man of Steel I actually do like.
I do too.
I'm gonna be that guy. You know what? Here's what I'm gonna say, right?
Bomb
I don't
soundtrack.
think. Yeah. But I also don't think that superheroes should be required to take the same steps. How do I say this in a way that makes sense? We have got a comic book and we've got a movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that an adaptation of a comic book character does not have to share that comic book character's core beliefs written in the comic. That's why shoot me, hang me. I like Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. You know what pisses me off? When people try to take comic book characters straight from the comic book,
mm-hmm.
and you can tell that that's their intention, and they fail,
and
they misunderstand. Like Man of Steel, Zack Snyder could care less about the comics.
Right.
He saw, all right, here's a guy, he can fly, let's make him kick ass.
Yeah. Are you excited for the Justice League extended cut? It's going to be like 4 hours long.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that.
I am too. I'm probably not going to watch it all at once, though. That's a long time.
I think I will.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I don't see how I can, turn it off, unless it's bad.
I think it's supposed to be in parts, though.
Oh. Well, then I'll watch it in parts.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what to think about it. I don't know what they're doing. It weirds me out, and I don't like it. I'll watch it, though.
It's weird. I don't see how it even makes sense to put on there. I think DC has kind of given up any shred of, honor when it comes to, we're going to make a universe like the MCU.
They need to do an X-Men thing and just chop it and restart.
I don't think they do. I think that DC characters are pretty overpowered as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Marvel characters, right? For screenwriting, purposes, they mesh better as a team because they're very all humanistic. Like Captain America is the boy from Brooklyn who somehow got really strong, but if you shot him, he would still die.
Yeah.
Spider-Man, same kind of deal. You shoot him, he's dead.
Yeah.
Iron Man is just a puny, wimpy guy in a suit of armor. Superman's a god.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman is also kind of a god.
Yeah.
And so is Aquaman.
Yeah.
I think that those people are almost better in their own.
Because,
how are they interacting with Batman?
Yeah. It sucks that even though Batman's the most interesting character in DC by a lot, in my opinion,
mm-hmm.
he is so much worse, at base level than everyone else. He's I don't know. DC is pretty much the DCEU exists because the Dark Knight series did so good, but like Batman kind of sucks compared to power wise compared to all
Imagine Christian Bale Batman versus Superman.
of them. It's thrash.
He just dies?
Yeah, Christian Bale Batman was cool because no one else had powers in Gotham. That's why it worked. Because even in like the animated Batman the animated series and the comic books, Bane kind of took that like those drugs and became super powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the Dark Knight, he's just a tough guy, you know, which I like honestly better.
Yeah,
but like I don't know, Batman's just kind of a bitch. I'll call it what it is.
Batman's cool though. He works well on his own stories with his own cast of villains because all his cast of villains are just like quirky criminals.
Yeah.
Like the Joker doesn't have powers. He's just like a sociopath that dresses like a clown.
Yeah.
And that's what's cool because, you know, Batman, he can't really take on the big guys.
You could say Batman's kind of just a sociopath dressed as a bat.
Yeah, and is that weirder than the clown?
No.
I don't know. It's a little kooky, a little crazy, but what I do want to really talk about is just how almost embarrassing it is that a company like Warner Bros., as said in like a Batman movie, can throw almost infinite money at a movie to be made, and how all of them suck. You know, it's pretty, especially when there's a Marvel Cinematic Universe like that's already established. You know what comic book fans want in a movie. You know what they don't want. You've seen it. You've got like almost, 10 years of movies to go back on and say, all right, let's take notes. They don't have an excuse to be bad.
Right.
In my opinion.
You're right. I also, I don't know how the DCU can be so bad. It's like the formula's here. All you have to do is copy it. No one's going to be mad. They'll be like, here's my money.
It's almost hilarious to a point.
The level of incompetence is hilarious.
It's absurd. They've got the most famous characters of all time, plus the formula for a good comic book movie. All they have to do is minimal writing.
Yeah.
And everyone will say, I love that. That was awesome.
Yeah, because I know Spider-Man's your favorite superhero ever, but Batman's mine.
Mm-hmm.
I've always, he's so interesting. He's so flawed. He's also just a dude. You can do so much with that. And they're like, well, yeah, but he could shoot people in our DCEU. One of the main draws of Batman is he doesn't kill people.
And also, if Batman uses a gun, then he's not interesting anymore.
No, he's just a soldier wearing a mask.
He's just like a fucking weirdo. You know what I mean?
I don't know. They just have pissed every character right away.
That's what I was talking about. You can take liberties with a character. But it's when it comes to Batman, and they were so trying to be comic accurate, you could tell. They've got all those little details, like the death of Jason Todd's Robin suit that he's looking at. And then they're like, let's give him a 50 cal.
I want you to take liberties. I do. I want this to be different than any Batman we've ever seen. But that doesn't mean you give him a gun. It'd be I don't know. If you had the Jedi, because all I can think about is Star Wars right now, because I just stare at those two posters and they're Star Wars. If he's a Jedi, right? But he has Force lightning. No? You don't do that? He's a Jedi, but he can Force choke people. Then he's not a Jedi. He's Batman, but he can kill people. Then he's not Batman.
You just unintentionally just pissed on episode 9 again.
I know.
As Rey shoots her Force lightning. Because that movie does not care about you as a Star Wars fan. It cares about pissing you off.
I'll never forgive that movie, that sequel trilogy, for what it did.
The sequel trilogy is a great example of also just an absurdist level of of incompetence
Yeah.
when it comes to that. Fuck you guys who are all on Instagram taking your high horse like, oh, the sequels weren't that bad. Watch them again.
They're bad.
They're not good.
They're bad.
It is unbelievable that Disney, right? When you talk about Warner Brothers having infinite money, I'm getting worked up. When you talk about Warner Brothers have infinite money that they can throw at an already established franchise, Disney is like that times like 50 fucking billion.
Yeah.
They acquire the most popular film franchise of all time. Undisputably of all time.
Yeah.
They have thousands of hours of established post-Battle of Endor content already written for them in Legends books.
Mm-hmm.
Disney can go in and say, all right, what does the fans like? What do they like about this? Even if they don't want to rip it, they're like, oh, well, they like Mara Jade. Why? Can we do something like that? They like Luke's Jedi Temple. Why? Can we do something like that? It's embarrassing that they had all that money and all that time and gave us the worst excuse for Star Wars since Episode 1.
Yeah.
Shocking.
I know there's like, this is such an off-topic thing. I know there's like a group of people who think Episode 8 is worse than Episode 1. And I used to say, well, come on, that's ridiculous. And now I don't know anymore.
Episode 1 sucks.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's just bad.
But it has some good parts. And it does advance the story.
Which is something that 8 doesn't do even at all.
That's what I'm saying.
8 can be summed up in one sentence. Really. If I can do run-ons, I can do one sentence.
That's like 8 would be a really good short story.
It'd be a great opening crawl for 9. You know? It's absurd. It's so stupid, though. Because, you know what I'm going to say? The sequel movies are great films. They are.
Mm-hmm.
From a movie standpoint, they're good. They've got heart. They're witty. They've got great diversity. They've got amazing visuals. The best visuals we've ever seen in a space movie ever.
Yeah.
They're just awful Star Wars stories.
Yeah, I agree.
And this is not a Wonder Woman podcast anymore because I've got worked up.
Yeah, I can tell.
So I think we probably should end it here.
I think it's a good idea. Thanks for listening, everyone. Our next podcast is going to be on one of the greatest movies I've seen this year. That's because it's one of the few movies I've seen this year that came out this year. And that's The Marksman, Liam Neeson. It's in theaters. We went and saw it the other day. It was really good because the theater was actually busy. And it made me real happy. And it's Liam Neeson.
Yeah. You know, we said if you wanted to watch Wonder Woman to prepare for this, go right ahead. You don't need to do that with The Marksman.
No. It's going to be good, though.
But get excited for the podcast because I'm excited to talk about The Marksman.
As am I. Thanks for listening again.
See you guys.